Last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have?
Caitlin Clark made history by becoming the first WNBA player ever to be named Time Athlete of the Year. A monumental achievement not just for her, but for the entire league. Fans, players, and analysts celebrated this as a watershed moment for women's basketball. Yet instead of universal applause, Clark's achievement was met with a surprising backlash. And not just from fans, but from within the WNBA itself.
It has taken the WNBA almost 28 years to get to the point where we are now. And this year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft of the players that came in.
Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics, openly criticized Clark's recognition during a CNN interview, claiming that the Time Warner should have gone to the entire WNBA instead of focusing on one player. Johnson argued that singling out Clark could create hard feelings among others in the league, sparking outrage across social media.
It's just not Caitlin Clark, it's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized, and I don't think we can just pin it on one player.
So what did Sheila Johnson really say? Why has her criticism been called divisive, tone-deaf, and even damaging to the WNBA? And most importantly, how has Caitlin Clark responded? Let's dive in.
Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings.
Sheila Johnson's remarks on Caitlin Clark during her CNN interview didn't sit well with analysts who quickly dissected and dismantled her claims. Instead of celebrating Clark's groundbreaking Time Athlete of the Year honor, Johnson argued that the award should have gone to the entire WNBA to avoid hard feelings. She went further, claiming that media coverage of Clark played into racial dynamics, stating that players of color that are equally as talented never got the recognition they should have.
There has been, this phrase has been couched, hasn't it? The Caitlin Clark effect. Why do you think that has been the case?
Well, I want to be very diplomatic about this. It's just the structure or the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen.
One described Johnson's comments as embarrassing, calling out the flawed logic behind questioning individual awards. This is sports, they said. We honor individual excellence, whether it's MVP's Rookies of the Year or historic awards like Time Athlete of the Year, suggesting the entire league should share the spotlight. Dilutes what makes these awards meaningful in the first place. They added that league-wide success is driven by stars like Clark, who bring global attention to women's basketball.
Just like in basketball and sports, people get awards. They get the MVP. They don't give it to the league. There's the most valuable player. They get singled out. It's not a participation trophy. It's not an equal opportunity thing.
Another analyst criticized Johnson for reinforcing the very jealousy narratives that Clark has tried to dispel during her Time interview. Clark dismissed claims of resentment among her peers, emphasizing mutual respect. Yet Johnson's comments seemed to confirm the animosity. Clark hoped to put to rest, sparking backlash across the sports world.
Her whole Time interview was talking about how trying to clap back at the fact that she was being targeted and people were jealous of her and bitter towards her. And now the freaking Mystics owner has just proved it.
Johnson's framing also came under scrutiny. One commentator called it insulting, explaining Caitlin Clark is a star because she's redefining the game, shooting from 30 feet, breaking records and drawing millions of viewers. That's about skill.
This is a WNBA owner has just said Caitlin Clark is big because she's white. No, because she's shooting the ball from 30 feet. She's literally shooting the ball from 30 feet. This is the reason why the WNBA has failed. People like this are the reason why the WNBA has failed.
Others highlighted how Johnson overlooked Clark's tangible contributions to the WNBA. She's single-handedly boosting attendance, TV ratings, and interest in the sport. Instead of questioning her recognition, we should be celebrating how much she's brought to this league across the board. Analysts concluded that Johnson's comments misrepresented Clark's achievements and undermined the progress the WNBA is making. As one noted, Clark isn't the problem. She's the solution.
We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing and their talents.
While analysts broke down the flaws in Sheila Johnson's arguments, fans took to social media in full force to defend Caitlin Clark. Their reactions ranged from biting sarcasm to passionate advocacy for Clark's contributions to the WNBA. If Johnson's goal was to raise broader questions, fans made it clear they saw her comments as a misguided attack on one of the league's brightest stars. One tweet mocked the hard feelings argument, sarcastically suggesting cancel all league awards, then no championships, no MVP, no Rookie of the Year. Let's just give awards to the entire league for existing. Another tweet captured fans' frustration with the league's silence, pointing out not one person from that league has come to her defense, and they wonder why her fan base thinks there is jealousy in the league. Fans also pointed to Clark's humility as proof of her deserving the time, honor. Beyond the sarcasm and frustration, fans rallied around the data that Johnson seemed to overlook. 31% of the Mystics' attendance for the entire 2024 season came from the 2 games versus Caitlin Clark and the Fever games where they had to move to a bigger arena. In non-Fever games, Washington averaged an attendance of 5,000 people, while when they host the Fever, the average jumps to 20,000. Fever games featuring Clark consistently drew record-breaking crowds with attendance spikes even for opposing teams when she was on the road. Her games also dominated TV ratings, with some regular season matchups outperforming playoff broadcasts. 19 of Clark's regular season games had at least 1 million viewers, while the playoffs without Clark only had 6. LA Sparks guard Lexi Brown clapped back at Johnson, saying that after having to move her team's games to a bigger arena when they played, "The Fever is absolutely insane," Brown wrote. "Can we please stop taking steps backwards?" She also didn't even mention her own stellar rookie. "Just unserious," Brown added. One viral post summed up fan sentiment perfectly. A WNBA player gets Athlete of the Year for the first time ever, and higher-ups in her league are asking why not someone else. You can't make this up. The backlash against Johnson's comments wasn't just about defending Clark. It was about highlighting what she represents for fans. Clark's stardom is proof that women's basketball is growing, and her recognition is a win for the entire league. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
We all need to sit down, and I think our leadership with our commissioner, she needs to sit down and even bring a psychologist in, I don't know, but talk to the players and how we resolve the issues that we're going through. Because not only what's going through with the WNBA is happening in society as well.
While fans rallied around Caitlin Clark, her own actions speak volumes about why she's so celebrated. Beyond her record-breaking performances on the court, Clark has consistently demonstrated the humility, generosity, and leadership that make her a role model in women's basketball.
Hardest part about being Caitlin Clark, I would say, having to feel like you're always like on.
We came from Wisconsin.
That is fun. Ready?
Oh my gosh.
You just have bad days, and there's days where you don't want to talk to anyone, but somebody comes up to you and this is their 10-second interaction with you, so you better smile and be kind. But at the same time, it's just like you just want to be normal sometimes.
Take her refusal to participate in an ESPN series solely about her college career. Clark made it clear she wouldn't proceed unless other players were featured too, which ended up co-starring Camila Cardoso and Kiki Rice, showing her commitment to uplifting her peers. Then there's her remarkable gesture during the WNBA season, advocating for spot bonuses to opposing players whose teams benefited from her game's high ticket sales. Fans weren't exaggerating when they called her the real deal.
How you feel or how you respond to some of those criticisms when you have to deal with something that it's really not your problem. Like, I feel like it's them looking in a mirror a little bit, but it still comes down on your shoulders.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career.
This mindset directly counters Sheila Johnson's claims about hard feelings being caused by singling out individuals. Clark's actions show she actively works to include and elevate others, making Johnson's concerns not just misplaced but contradictory to reality. In addition to her character off the court, Clark's dedication to her craft has set a new standard for rookies in the league. Coming off an exhausting college season, Clark transitioned seamlessly into the WNBA, logging heavy minutes without complaint. "I'm lucky to do what I love," she told Time. Instead of resting on her laurels, Clark immediately outlined off-season goals, building strength, improving her mid-range game, and developing mental toughness to counter physical defenses.
I've been enjoying a little bit of a break. I played basketball for literally a year straight. I played like 82 games. I didn't miss a game from college to the pros, which is basically an entire NBA season. And I didn't really come out of many games either. So it was long, but I'm very fortunate and grateful. But I feel like I can just continue to improve. And
her impact on the league isn't just about her skills. It's about how she uses her platform. Clark consistently highlights her peers' contributions, praises teammates, and even publicly celebrates the achievements of her rivals. This approach has endeared her to fans and media alike, positioning her as the NBA's most relatable and inspiring figure. While Sheila Johnson's comments sparked division, Clark's actions reflect unity. Her leadership isn't just about playing basketball, it's about building the league into something greater. And if her rookie season is any indication, she's well on her way to reshaping the narrative of women's basketball for the better.
She went into the WNBA as a rookie, had more assists than any player ever, generated more points than any player ever. Made first team all WNBA, rookie season. Led the Fever to the playoffs, rookie season. It's just sad. It's just sad at this juncture. Why backlash for helping to grow the league and getting others shine? Do people get mad when LeBron James or Tom Brady is put on a cover? No, it should be the entire NFL or the entire NBA.
Sheila Johnson's comments weren't just an attack on Caitlin Clark. They exposed deeper issues within the WNBA leadership, and its struggle to unify behind its stars. For many fans and analysts, Johnson's remarks symbolized a missed opportunity for the league to celebrate a historic moment and showcase its brightest talents. The first major issue lies in the league's silence, despite the criticism that Clark's remarks caused. There has been little to no public defense of her from the WNBA itself. Fans have taken notice, with one tweeting, not one person from that league coming to her defense, and they wonder why her fan base thinks there is jealousy. This absence of support only fuels the perception of division within the WNBA, whether it's rooted in jealousy, rivalries, or misaligned priorities.
I'm sorry that the WNBA wasn't as popular before. I didn't watch it as much as I did before, and I'm covering it now. But that's the good thing! That's the benefit! Every other player who wasn't getting the recognition is now. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Can no one see that? Asia Wilson is much more famous than she was before. This next wave of girls.
Johnson's framing of Clark's success as problematic highlights another systemic issue: the league's inability to rally behind individual players. Clark's impact on attendance, viewership, and overall interest in women's basketball is undeniable. Yet her recognition was met with questioning instead of celebration. How hard is it just to say congratulations and keep it moving? This lack of cohesion within the WNBA is clearly damaging at a time when the league is gaining traction with new audiences. Instead of capitalizing on Clark's popularity to elevate the league, Johnson's comments became a distraction, detracting from what should have been a unifying moment. Fans have repeatedly pointed out that rising stars like Clark bring more attention to the league as a whole, benefiting all players. Yet the league's silence and internal criticism undermine these efforts.
But Caitlin Clark is the clear and obvious driving force. It's not black and white, it is green. The attendance for the Mystics games broke the record for most attended games against the Fever. They averaged like 4,000 in attendance. Against the Fever, it was over 20,000. The three highest attended games this year were all Fever games. Over 20,000. 3 games went over 20,000. All 3 were Fever. 2 were against the Mystics.
For the WNBA to thrive, it needs leaders who prioritize unity over division. Sheila Johnson's remarks and the lack of public response from others highlight the urgent need for a stronger, more unified vision. The question now is whether the WNBA can learn from this moment or risk squandering its momentum. Despite the controversy stirred by Sheila Johnson's comments, Caitlin Clark remains the embodiment of what's right with women's basketball. Her historic recognition as Time Athlete of the Year wasn't just about her. It's about what she represents for the WNBA future. Clark has proven that individual excellence doesn't divide a league. It elevates it.
There have been great black players before. Caitlin still has work to do before she can be considered the greatest of all time in the professional ranks. But to act like there's just like this laundry list of players who are better than Caitlin Clark is stupid. It's ignorant.
Johnson's remarks highlighted cracks in the WNBA leadership and its struggle to unify behind its stars. But the overwhelming support from fans and even media outlets shows that the league's future is bright if it embraces what Clark symbolizes: hard work, humility, and the ability to bring people together. As Clark continues to shine, she's setting a new standard for what it means to be a leader. Her focus isn't just on her own success, but on uplifting those around her teammates, peers, and even rivals. That kind of leadership is exactly what the WNBA needs to break into the mainstream and gain the respect it deserves. The path forward is clear. The WNBA has a rare opportunity to rally behind players like Clark and use their success as a springboard for growth. It's time for league leaders to step up, embrace unity, and celebrate achievements that bring attention to women's basketball. Caitlin Clark has already chosen her path. She's leading by example and showing that the future of the WNBA is bright. The only question is, will the league follow her lead? Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we will see you in the next one.